I'm reviewing here! Oh, excuse me, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Bussey, watches and reviews Sight and Sound's top greatest movies of all time. Pardon me, I had to blow. I got a cold. Yeah, it's the time of year. Just a sec. Oh, God, it's so annoying. Yeah, it's the time of the year. It always happens. What can I say? You know, I hate colds. Who likes getting a cold? But, you know, a part of me almost kind of likes it because I like my voice when I have a cold. Like, do I sound different right now? Do I sound sexier? Because I always think that I do when I have a cold. Like, when I feel congested, I feel like my voice gets it sounds a little bit more voluptuous, a little bit more lecherous, a little bit more libidinous. Do I sound like Cruella de Vil? Yeah, I do. No, I think I do, really. But I'm nice. Like, I love dogs. I would never kill dogs ever. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there something wrong with me? I don't know, like, what it is. It's just a bizarre thought that I had. Like, as I was getting a cold today, as I was continuing to blow my nose today, I was like, God, you know what? This is really annoying, but I sound hot. I think on my dating profile, you know, on Hinge, you can add like an audio so people can hear what you sound like, and I think I'm gonna do that. No, I won't. No. I'm not that desperate. I mean, I am, but not for that. I don't know what it is, you know, because you know what the other odd thing is? I love going to the gym and feeling pain the next day, like sore pain. I mean, there is something wrong with me, obviously. Like, the other day I worked out my chest and I felt no pain the next day, and I was so mad. I literally woke up and screamed, "Hell!" Like, I was livid. Yeah. And, like, I did my back workout today, and I cannot wait to wake up tomorrow and feel sore. Deadlifts, you guys, everybody do a deadlift, like, once in your life, and watch yourself do it. You look so cool. Like, every time I deadlift, I'm like, God, I wish, like, TMZ, like, I'm not famous, no one cares about me, but, like, I wish they were nearby so they could see me do it, because, you know, I'm a skinny-ass little scrawny kid with bad skin, and I can deadlift. How much can I deadlift? 110 pounds. I know. It's hot. Very hot. Anyway, look, I hope you all are doing very well. I have an interesting movie to review today. So today we are going to be reviewing a very surreal movie. This is a movie by a very accomplished British director by the name of Terence Davies. It is called... What is it called? Sorry, it's the cold. No, this movie, I'm just kidding. This movie is called Distant Voices, Still Lives.
Here. Good night, Dad.
Good night, kids.
If anything happens to my mum, why did you marry him?
He was nice. He was a good dancer.
Ta-ra, Mum.
I love the light nights.
They're starting to draw in now, aren't they, Mum?
Love is is a many splendored thing. Gaboo bee gabba gaboo. Oh, guys, this movie, I got some bad news. I didn't like it. And like, I say that with so much regret because it is such a beautifully filmed movie. It like from beginning to end, it's just gorgeously filmed. Gorgeously filmed. The cinematography. Terence Davies, the director, I'm going to talk about him first. He is a true visionary. I mean, he knows what. Who the hell is texting me? Oh, sorry, Instagram. He is. He knows what he wants in a shot. And a lot of times that's kind of like rare in cinema, nowadays. We get like a lot of new filmmakers who we can tell have their own style, and it's really, really cool. But, Terence Davies, I mean, he's 77 years old now, I think, and he's very special. He is one of England's like most famous directors of all time. I don't know, I mean, he does small movies. I have seen a few of them. He did a movie last year called Benediction, which was really good. Really amazing movie. He did a movie with Cynthia Nixon. I almost said Cynthia, like, anytime I hear Cynthia, I just think of the Rugrats. He did a movie with Cynthia Nixon called A Quiet Passion, which came out in 2016, and it was all about Emily Dickinson. That was accidental, I swear. She was American, wasn't she? Wait, what did Emily Dickinson write? I gotta look this up really quickly. Oh, she was just like a poet? What did she write? Oh, that's gonna bother me now. Oh, darn it. Yeah, no, amazing movie. Amazing, amazing movie. Now, he did another movie called The Deep Blue Sea. Not Deep Blue Sea, the 1999 movie about killer sharks. No, this is The Deep Blue Sea. You know how there's a The Fast and the Furious and a Fast and Furious, and Fast and Furious is the fourth movie? Yeah, The Deep Blue Sea is, has nothing to do with sharks. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, sexy, amazing, like, breathtaking romantic drama. Starring Rachel Weisz and Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston, this is before he was like, the guy, like the Loki, Taylor Swift's former lover, the dude in the new King Kong movie. Like, this is before people, kind of this is before people knew who he was, essentially. And this movie, The Deep Blue Sea, I mean, it was based on a play. It's very, very theater-esque. It was based on a play by this British playwright called Terence Davies. There are shots in this movie, The Deep Blue Sea, and I know, this movie's not on the list, so I just got to quickly talk about it, though, because, I mean, it just shows how much of a genius Davies is with his camera. There are moments in that movie that are just so haunting. There are shots that, like, you would expect to see, like, in an art museum, There's one shot in particular where, Weisz and Hiddleston's characters, they're in bed, naked, and it's like the early morning, and they just start to like hug each other and like caress each other, and they're like they're not like having sex, I don't think, or if they are, they're doing it incredibly slowly, but they are just hugging each other, and the camera it's like a bird bird angle shot right above them, and the camera is just slowly spinning and very, very slowly around them as they hug and caress each other. And it's like, you see a lot of love scenes in movies. You don't see them like that. You don't see a scene like that where it really shows you what it means like to be in love and to, just lose yourself in someone, whether you're in them or not. God, I had to make a sex joke. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, look, Davies, he's an incredible director. Distant Voices, Still Lives was just not for me. Oh my God. This movie, again, gorgeously shot. It is actually considered to be by a lot of critics one of like the best British movies of all time. It came out in 1988. It's won a bunch of awards. A lot of famous people liked it. Jean-Luc Godard, the very famous French director, said it was amazing. It's a very semi-autobiographical movie. So Terence Davies, he wrote and directed this. This is one of his very early movies, too. And Davies, a quick summary of his childhood wasn't very good. He grew up in Liverpool, and he was the youngest of 10 children. Insane. He was born to very Catholic parents. His dad was like insane, abusive, and that's kind of it. That's kind of all you have to know. And then, you start watching Distant Voices Still Lives, and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, you can tell that this is definitely like a passionate, nostalgic movie. All the way from beginning to end. There's actually a few shots in the movie where you see a picture like on the ceiling of a guy with standing next to like a horse, I think, and that was actually Davies' real father that he incorporated in the movie. So Distant Voices Still Lives. Why didn't I like it? Okay, I'll get into it. First, let me tell you what it's about. This is also, again, a very artsy-fartsy movie. Artsy-fartsy, fancy schmancy. I use those words way too much in my vocabulary, and I'm sick to death of using them. This movie, I mean, I'm half British. I liked it at first because, well, obviously because it just makes me want to go to London. I mean, this is set in Liverpool. Sorry, I gotta stop doing that. It makes me just miss England. I used to go to England all the time when I was a kid. Then when I became a teenager, I was like, no, I don't want to get on a plane. I'm independent. And I stopped going. And then it only took me a few years ago to be like, no, I want to go back. I miss my family. And then COVID hit. Fucking COVID. And then now oh my God, I don't think I've ever said the F word on here. I'm sorry. But now I get to go back a lot, and I actually do have British citizenship. Wow, say that 10 times really fast. Jesus Christ. Yeah, British citizenship. Blah, 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 blah. I got that, and then of course I happened to get it right before Brexit happened, so it's like just my friggin' luck. That's karma. Karma is very real, people. Some of you may be wondering too, like, you're half British. Can you do an accent? I cannot do a British accent because it always turns into an Australian accent, like every damn time. Like, it's literally, like, I kid you not, it's like, oh, I had a good day today, I went to school, and then, oi, there's a shark over there! Like, it always just, I get so over the top with it. I do. But I still will, get, like, weak at the knees if I'm walking around Philadelphia. This, like, never happens, but, like, if I'm walking around Philadelphia and I hear a British person near me, I'm like, oh! Yeah, the accent is just amazing. But here's a little rule for Americans listening. Guys, British people don't like when you try to talk like them. Don't do it. It's annoying. It's annoying. It is. And I know I probably just did it. Well, I was just showing you an example, too. That's also why I don't like to speak in a British accent, because it's so bad. And, like, Brits are just so annoyed with, people trying to talk like them. It's annoying. I've had my fair share of being a total jackass to British people in the past. My best friend in college, I remember he had a party one time, and I went over, and there was a British guy over there, and I legit was, like, drunk out of my mind, and was just like, oh, hello, are you British? So cool! And this poor guy was like, yes, I'm British. What are you laughing at? Like, are you making fun of me? And I was like, oh God. And then I think my exact reaction was, yes, I am. It wasn't very nice. That's why I don't drink that much anymore. Well, I do drink, but just not vodka. Vodka is not good for me at all. Alrighty. What was I talking about? It's late. I like to record these podcasts late, because I actually get a lot more energy at night than I do, like, in the afternoon, like on the weekend. So, and I get really into it. And I also just watched this movie, so it's like very clear in my mind. So Distant Voices Still Lives. What's it about? What's the deal? Why didn't I like it? Okie dokie. What's it about? Let's start with that. It's about nothing, really. It's about a family. It's about a working class family in Liverpool in the 1940s and the 1950s. A working class Catholic family, that is. Her, wink, wink. Davies, autobiographical. I don't know how much of this is autobiographical, but a lot of it, you can tell, like the father especially, which I'll get into, was very much based on Davies' life. So this movie is basically divided into two parts. It's like two movies in one. Distant Voices is like part one of the movie, and that follows this family, and in particular the kids, like when the kids are young, and World War II is happening, and the Germans were like dropping bombs in England and London everywhere, and the Blitz is happening. Fun fact: my grandma's British. She lived through the Blitz. She used to tell me all the time about when she was a kid. She had to hide in the tubes and everything. Tube is the subway, not like a tube. No, like no one can fit in a tube. Yeah, but really scary. But part one of the movie's about that, and then part two, which is titled Still Lives, follows the kids when they're adults. So this family, there are two parents, and they don't have names. They're just mother and father. The father is played. Oh, they do have names, but they're like never called that. I'm sorry. The father, his name is Tommy, but he's essentially just the father. He's played by the late, great, amazing, incredible Pete Postlethwaite. Am I saying his name right? I hope I am. Pete Postlethwaite. He passed away like, oh God, so young. 2011. Well, 64. I mean, that's old, but young still. You'd recognize him if you Googled him. Guys, he was in a lot of movies that you've seen. He was in the Lost World Jurassic Park. He played, I'm looking it up right now, Roland Tembo. I think he's a baddie in it. I think he cares about the dinosaurs, but he's a bit of a narcissist in that. He was in The Usual Suspects. He was in Romeo and Juliet, the one with Leo DiCaprio and Claire Danes, I'm sorry. A whole bunch of movies. He was in the... he was in the Omen remake, which I actually thought was a really good movie. Inception he was in? I didn't even know that. Anyway, Google him. You'll recognize his name. The mother was played by a woman named Frida Dowie. Dowie, D-O-W-I-E. I don't recognize her. Sorry, Frida. But they're the parents, and they have 3 kids. They have 2 girls, Maisie and Eileen. The adults, Maisie's played by this actress named Lorraine Ashbourne, and Eileen is played by Angela Walsh. Now, fun fact, Lorraine Ashbourne is married to Andy Serkis. Who's Andy Serkis? Not circus like, ooh, clown. Circus with an S, S-E-R-K-I-S. Guys, Andy Serkis was Gollum and King Kong and basically any CGI like animal in any movie that you've seen. That was probably Andy Serkis. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that was him too. Yeah. Lorraine is his wife, and they have been married since 2002. Aw, that's sweet. So, yeah, they have 2 kids, I'm sorry. And they also have a son named Tony. He's played by this actor named Dean Williams. The father in this movie, played by Pete Postlethwaite, he is a POS. He is an abusive psychopath. Like, literally. And you know this very quickly. He's got a drinking problem, and he's just abusive. He's awful. He's one of those dads that you see in movies who, like, I don't even know. You know, I was going to say, like, he's the type of dad that loves his kids, but he's just very clearly, like, got a lot of mental issues. But I don't even know if he loves his kids, to be honest. I mean, like, there's a moment in the movie where it's Christmas Eve and the kids are all sleeping in a bed, and he puts like their stockings, you know, at the end of their bed, and I think he says something like, "Oh, happy Christmas" or whatever. And then in the next scene, though, he's at the breakfast table or the dinner table, and the kids are there, and he just freaks out and starts screaming and throws everything off the table. And he beats up his wife. There's a heartbreaking shot where, you know, his wife is just covered in bruises, and she's trying to fight back tears, and as she's wiping this table. It's really sad. And there's even a worse scene, and this is crazy because this really did happen, where he beats up Maisie. Maisie, like, wants to go to the school dance, and he makes her clean the floor in the basement or the shed or something. And he gets a broom and he beats her. And that really happened. Pete Postlethwaite, like, actually asked Terence Davies, like, do I really got to do that? And Terence said, my dad did that to my sister. Yeah, you got to do it. It's really crazy. How the friggin' hell can you beat up your children? Just what the hell is the matter with people? I don't get it. But that's, you know, this movie, watching this movie, this is not your typical narrative movie. This movie, when you watch it, it is like watching someone's memory. It's like going on a ride, like at Disney World, and the ride is like going inside someone's brain. Kind of like being John Malkovich, but even more weird. And less good, sorry, being John Malkovich. That's like one of my favorite movies. But that's what this movie is. And I say that because the movie is all about memory. Now think about this for a sec. Our minds, our lives go so fast. I don't know about you guys, but like I think about past memories all the time. I had to burp, I'm sorry. That's why I paused. But I think about them all the time. I mean, I do it on this podcast. I always will like bring up a little memory. And I don't know, maybe I just need to get out more and I need to get a life more, but like it's crazy how the mind works because, you know, your mind is just filled with memories all out of order. And that's the thing in Distant Voices Still Alive. So that I do appreciate, that I did like. I liked how everything was not in chronological order. Everything is very disorienting in this movie. But you know why? Because your brain is disorienting. Memories are disorienting, you know? You don't think about things like you do, like the way a movie is structured. No, you don't. When you think about when you were a kid or when you were a teenager, when you think about the good memories and the bad memories, it's all out of order because you can't control your mind. So Davies does that in a very impressive way, and I'll give him a lot of credit for that. That is a great thing about this movie. So what happens? Well, some stuff happens, I guess. You know, the movie starts off with one of the older sisters, you know, the eldest sister, Eileen. She has just gotten married to this guy named, oh God, what's his name? Oh, I wrote it down and I completely forget. She gets married to this guy, and David, I think, is his name. Dave. Yeah, Dave is his name. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, Dave is his name. She gets married to him, and you know, it cuts to a few scenes later, and she's hugging him and crying to death. I want me dad! I want me dad! So she misses him. Meanwhile, though, you know, the camera kind of pans over to Maisie, and you hear a little narration where she just goes, like, I don't miss dad at all. Like, you know, he sucked. And then, you know, it crosses over to Tony, too, and he says the same thing, like, I hated dad. So why did Eileen like her dad more? We don't know. We don't find out. We never do. This movie is just simply, it's one of those movies that kind of just takes a little magnifying glass over a family and doesn't really explain a lot. Doesn't. Is that a bad thing? Well, a lot of people won't like that. Did I like that? That didn't bother me. I'll get to you what bothered me about this movie soon. But what does happen in this movie? Well, you know, yeah, Eileen gets married. Maisie gets married to this guy named George. Tony gets married. There are just a lot of shots of the family and their friends. You know, Eileen and Maisie, they have a good friend of theirs named, yeah, what's her name? Jingles, which I really like. And, you know, she's kind of like a free spirit. But, you know, they go to the bar at night. They go to the movies. This is kind of where, you know, part two, the Still Lives part of the movie comes into play. You know, they go to the movies and Love Is a Many Splendid Thing is playing and Guys and Dolls is playing. I've never seen Guys and Dolls either on my bucket list, though. They do a lot of that. Again, it's all cross-cut. Everything is like, did that scene already happened? Is this like a flashback? Is it a flash forward? What happened? Huh? Who? Huh? What's that? Huh? Who? Huh? 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 Who? Huh? What is that? What's that all mean? You know, and also, like, you got to remember, too, like, this movie, there's no central main character in it. The family is the main character. All of them are the main character in it. And the cinematography, I mean, is just absolutely outstanding. The music, well, I'll get to the music in a sec. The score of the movie's beautiful, as you heard in that trailer. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. The cinematography, though, is like, I have no words to describe it in this movie. The cinematography was done by, oh God, I didn't write it down. Who did the cinematography? I'm going to find out as I'm talking. It is just absolutely amazing. Oh, it was two people, William Diver and Patrick Duvall. The way that they play with this camera in the movie is so remarkable. I mean, like, there's a shot, a lot of the shots are asymmetrical, which is just really, really cool. It's really cool to see that in a movie. What is asymmetrical? Butterfly. You know how a butterfly, you cut it down the middle and both sides are the same? I learned that when I was like a kid, and it's fascinated me ever since. And I never get to use the word asymmetrical. So I do give this movie credit for that because it gives me an excuse to use it. But yeah, you know, there are a lot of shots like that. There's this really cool sequence where the camera is on, Eileen crying in her husband's eyes saying, "I miss my dad." And then it just pans left very slowly and it cuts to all one shot, like a church. Like all these kids are in a church praying in front of a little, statue of the Virgin Mary, and there are candles everywhere. And then the camera pans some more and you see a window and you see the father, at putting like decorations on the Christmas tree. And it's just a very, very, I guess this is also more editing. The editing, which was also by William Diver, the tricks that you can do with editing. This is like a prime example in this movie. It's amazing how they do that. It is, because you forget that you're watching a movie. You just go, how did they, wait, what happened to the lights and that? And because, like when a scene cuts, when it cuts, but this is all one shot. So it makes you think, like, did they actually like film this on a soundstage or something? I mean, it's very cool. And, they filmed this movie. This is just insane. It took them 2 years to film this movie. 2 years. And it was so low budget. Which is just insane. I mean, it makes sense though, because if you don't have a lot of money and you got a lot of big scenes to film in this, then I guess it makes sense. You got to wait to earn the money. But there's only another really good moment in the movie. There's only one kind of big moment where you go, wow, that must have cost money. There's this, a quick flashback where the kids are walking around the city, and then there's an air raid, and you hear the sirens go off, World War II, and the kids, their parents are running into this bunker, and they're like, where are the kids? Where are the kids? And the kids are panicking, and they hide under this little, like, wagon, and then this guy grabs them, and he's rushing them to the bunker, and then right behind the kids, these buildings just blow up. And I don't know how they did it, because those kids were really close to those explosions. I really hope that they were safe and no one died. And then, the kids go back to the bunker, and then the dad slaps the daughter across the face and is like, where are you? Where were you? I mean, oh, yeah, the dad's really awful. And also, there's a really random scene that I wrote down where we briefly meet. Years later, it's Eileen and Dave, like, eating dinner, and Dave's also, like, a bit of a pig in it. Yeah, the men, like, aren't good in this movie. I don't think the director, Davies, was trying to say something about that, but they're just, like, not likable in it. Like, none of them. They're either not likable or they're just really weird. We briefly meet the father's brother, Uncle Ted, and they make him look like a real-life Frankenstein. He literally opens up the door while Eileen and Dave are eating dinner, and he turns off the light, and he's like, "Oi! Would you like the lights off?" And you're just like, what? And then it just makes no sense. And you see him in, like, one more scene, and then that's it. So it's like a little quirky part about the movie. There's also like a fart joke in the movie, but there's no need for me to explain that. It's a quick moment. The movie ends very bizarrely. It basically ends with, they're like at a bar, and then there's this really bizarre, gorgeously filmed, but really bizarre moment where it looks like George, who is Maisie's husband, and Tony, the brother, they like fall through these like glass ceilings, and it's all just black in the background, and they fall through them. Again, it's like a bird's angle shot, high angle. I don't know why I keep saying bird's angle view. Bird angle view. Yeah, that's what people call it. These two men, though, they just fall through them, and then it's kind of implied that Tony dies because, in the next shot, his wife and Eileen and Dave are like, sitting around his hospital bed crying. And it does have a really good closing shot. It basically ends with Tony getting married and, the mother and the kids and the in-laws, her in-laws, they're walking down the street they're the camera's behind them, and they're walking just down the street at night. And then, it's another trick of the eye, or trick of editing, whatever you call it, where in the next scene, the mom is walking down, but it's older because it's later on, because the mom is older and she's walking, but it's just with Maisie and George. And you can kind of just like tell from the mom's just from the back of her head. She gives a great performance in it, this Frida actress. You can tell that she just looks a little bit sad. just from behind. So why didn't I like this movie, you guys? The singing. There is so much a cappella singing in this movie. Pitch Perfect, like 4, Britain. Yeah. Pitch Perfect 4, The Abusive Father. Literally, I could not. I tried my best. I really, really did. But in every scene in this movie, characters just break out into song. And no, this isn't a musical. They just sing. They sing all of these songs. Every scene. Every scene. And it's exhausting. I got so tired of it. There's even a scene where, I forget what one of the characters says, but I think one of the characters is like, "Don't break out into song again. What are you doing?" And I literally was like talking to my TV screen. I was like, "Yeah, please don't, please." And then they do. It just wasn't for me, this movie. It wasn't really for me. I love the cinematography. I love the score, not the music by the actors, but the score. I loved the whole, nostalgic feel to it. But, the disorienting way of it, I get why Davies does it in this movie, but I didn't care for anyone in the film. I cared for the mom, but a little bit. We don't really learn a ton about her, per se. Again, that's not really a problem, because you don't have to follow movie rules where everyone's given a character arc. This is Davies' movie. It's his art. His art just wasn't really for me in this movie. I like a lot of his other movies a lot more. Maybe it'll stick with me. Who knows? Maybe it'll stick with me. It was just, it was a short movie, too. It's only like an hour and, I think, 24 minutes, but it's got gorgeous moments. It's got heartbreaking moments. I think anyone who's British, who is still alive and grew up in the 40s, is going to go, yeah, that's what it was like. I mean, I could talk to my grandmother and she could watch this and probably go, yeah, well, I really hope that her father wasn't abusive, but, he wasn't. But, yeah, it captures the culture of the period very nicely. It's stylistically a gorgeous movie. I think it's more of a style over substance movie, And I would have liked it if there was less singing. That sounds like a really stupid excuse, but I couldn't get why. I couldn't understand why music was so big in this movie. I could not get it. And after like the 50th song, I kind of like had to turn my head away, honestly. Yeah. But look, this is not a dreadful movie. This really is not. I wouldn't recommend this. I mean, I would if you don't believe anything I say on this podcast, but this movie is available to stream for free on Tubi, Tubi. I remember the Super Bowl when they had a Tubi commercial and everyone thought that their TVs had frozen. It was really just Tubi being annoying and being like, we have free movies and shows, download us. Yeah, Tubi does have a lot of good movies, though. A lot of underrated, like, indies, which I do appreciate. But it's for free. You can download the app. You can watch Distant Voices Still Lives on there if you want to. I highly recommend, though, other Terence Davies movies. I really recommend The Deep Blue Sea. I recommend A Quiet Passion, Benediction, which just came out last year. Benediction is slow-moving, but it's based on a true story about a very famous British poet? He was a poet, wasn't he? Oh, God. Hold on. Wait. Pause. Stand by. Don't leave. Benediction. Siegfried Sassoon. Yes, he was a war poet, a writer, and a soldier. And he was gay. And the movie really touches on that a lot, and it's gorgeously done. Yeah, Benediction came out last year. It was released by Roadside Attractions? Really? I didn't know that. It's not even called that anymore, is it? I don't remember. But look, I'm not saying avoid this one, Distant Voices Still Lives. I'm just saying definitely check out a Terence Davies movie. He is a one-of-a-kind director. I cannot wait to see what he does next. He's a director that takes his time, too, with his art, with his, film/art, whatever you want to call it, which I think is really good. You get a lot of directors who rush into things, and he doesn't. And, yeah, great director. movie wasn't really for me. Anyway, it happens. Not gonna like every single movie that I watch, and I did not hate this movie. I just hated the singing. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not that they sung badly. It just was that they sung too much. They sang too much, you know? Just way too much. 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 Yeah. That's all I'll say about that. But look, give it a shot if you want to, and definitely check out this director's works of art. Jesus Christ. You know why I just stumbled there? Because I'm thinking about the singing again. I'm not going to be able to friggin' sleep tonight because of the songs in this movie. I don't really remember how they go. I just remember, imagine just British people singing, la la la, like, from beginning to end. Yeah, that's what Distant Voices Still Lives is. Anyway, look, I'm not trash talking this movie. It's just my opinion. I think that's it for today's episode, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click rate, subscribe, review. Give me all your feedback that you want. Tell everyone about this. It's so much fun doing this. I am loving it so far. I cannot wait for the next movie because it's a documentary that came out in 2010 and I'd never heard of it. And 2010 I was in college and I saw everything. WTF? What was I doing? Well, probably drinking because, you know, college, you gotta drink because you think you gotta fit in and then you just look like an idiot and you do stupid things. I wrote a book about my college experience. I think I said that already, but I'll shut up now. I don't want to get into that. It's not for sale either. I think I said it already too. Alrighty. Yes, this movie available on Tubi. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good whatever. If you are in a good mood, I hope you continue to have a good mood. If you're in a bad mood, get out of it. Life's too short. You know what helps me if I'm in a bad mood? Scream in a pillow. Or you can just go work out and scream as you're working out. But talk to your gym manager first before you do that because you don't want to scare people. Alrighty. Bye-bye.